Okay, once again, turnovers led to our demise. It was unfortunate. We played exceptionally well on defense. Special teams was excellent as well. We definitely won the special teams battle, but couldn't get much generated on an offense. But there's going to be games that are defensive struggles. There are going to be games that are offensive shootouts. The one common denominator in those games, and in every game, is the turnover margin. That's the thing that usually is the difference maker. And in this game, it was exactly that. We're 4 turnovers and no takeaways, and you're going to win probably 0 games a season doing that. And so it's something that's got to be corrected. And in our losses, it showed up, and in our wins, it's been the reverse. And so it's pretty apparent what our issue is, and we got to get it fixed. And that's the long and short of that. We got a week off as far as no game this week. We'll practice. We'll work Monday through Thursday, give them a 3-day weekend, and then come back Monday of next week ready to go for the Sun Devils, who are coming to our place. Excellent team, by the way. Very good football team. First place in the South, and great offense, second only to Oregon in total offense and scoring, and playing really good defense too. A very complete football team is what Arizona State is. So, questions?
Coach, would you say all 5 of your offensive line starters' positions are safe at this point?
Well, we feel they give us the best chance to win. They're the guys that have been playing together since last spring. Isaac Asiata is a guy who does a great job and maybe merits an opportunity to play some snaps in a game. But other than that, those 5 guys are clearly the best 5 that we have at this point in time.
Coach, can you kind of take us through the quarterback decision? I'm sure a lot of tough thought went into that with injury, with backup, with Connor Manning, I'm sure, warming up. Kind of take us through the quarterback flow going into the game and then during the game, how things kind of went down.
Yeah, well, going into the game, we had hoped that Travis was going to be able to, be effective. It turned out not to be the case. We struggled. Brought Schultz in to try to get a spark and get something going. Brought him in and didn't really have a whole lot of success there either. And Connor Manning, it was never really a serious consideration to put him in. He's got the red shirt label on him right now, and really is, he's a true freshman. He's probably not quite ready for a situation like that. And so that's where we were at. We got to get better play. The quarterbacks will be the first ones to tell you we got to get more effective play there, and that's something that going forward has got to improve. Now Travis is lights out in the first 5 games, and we had very good quarterback play, and it's just been the last couple games that we've had struggles.
How much of those struggles do you think were a result of that hand, the interception?
If you're out there, you're good, and so we're never going to say that. You shouldn't be out there if you can't perform, and so we're not going to ever use that as an excuse. I'll say one thing for certain is the offensive line needs to play better. We didn't protect very well, we didn't run block very well, didn't take any stress off the quarterback with an effective run game. So it's not just the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of things involved. We didn't catch the ball particularly well when we did have opportunities to catch it at wide out, and so it was a collective effort and not a very good one overall.
Kyle, as you watched the film compared to how you felt right after the game, was it as bad as things were, or did you see some positives? Or in reviewing the film, how did you see the game?
Well, there was a lot of positives on the defensive side of the ball. We played our best defensive game of the year by far. I mean, we stuffed the run, gave up a few things in the throw game. You're never going to completely shut down a quality Pac-12 team like USC across the board on defense, but if we can get that defensive effort, they had 250 yards and 30 yards rushing and 14 first downs, not very not productive on third down. So that was a big positive. The kicking game, as I mentioned, was a big positive. We out-netted them, I think, 12 or 13 yards every time we punted. We gained in field position 4 or 5 yards better than them in the kickoff return game. We did miss a field goal. That was disappointing. They were, 4 for 5 in their field goals. We were 1 for 2. So there was positives there. Not a lot of positives on offense. Hard to find a positive there other than we played hard. The players are playing hard and they're giving great effort. just not getting great results the last couple of weeks.
A lot of the defensive players, obviously the turnover margin is big.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of dragged on for quite a while now, the lack of takeaways and that.
Yep, it has, a year and a half.
How do you approach that now?
Just got to keep working on it. We work on it every day in practice. We have turnover circuits and things that we do and emphasize in practice on a daily basis. And plus, we've missed out on a bunch of opportunities this year. It's not like we haven't had several opportunities to intercept the football, and the ball's been on the ground several times. Now, we have recovered a bunch of fumbles, but we've had an opportunity to recover more than what we've gotten. And so we just got to keep working it and keep preaching it. And the turnover margin is just that, is the turnover margin. It's just not all the offense turning the ball over. It's combined with the defense not taking it away. Because if we take it away 4 times like they do, then it's even. And so that turnover margin is a team effort, not just an offensive thing.
How much time has your staff spent discussing whether or not to play Connor Manning?
Very little, and we're to the point now where we don't think that's a viable option in his best interest or ours in the long haul. And and it's a win right now mentality. I mean, you got to worry about the moment, but in fairness to Connor and in thinking objectively what that would bring to the table for us right now in our situation, we don't think it's a smart move at this point in time.
Coach, is there anything that you can do to maybe cut down on some of the turnovers with the passing game offensively? Are you guys looking at maybe going a little more conservative?
No, not more conservative for certain. We got to continue to try to move the ball. A bunch of the interceptions have been off deflected passes where it's been right in our hands. I mean, we get the one on the tunnel screen Saturday should have been a completion and a gain instead of a huge swing in momentum with the turnover. And so it's been, that and, a couple poor decisions. And I'm not going to say there hasn't been some poor throws and poor decisions, because there has been, but a great portion of those interceptions have been, I don't want to say flukes, but things that should not have happened.
Is there anything you can look at or point to over the last couple of weeks as far as the inconsistency in your offensive line play from Stanford to the last 2 weeks where they haven't been as good as they were, obviously, against Stanford?
No one thing, just collectively we haven't been as good. I think one thing at Stanford, we lost our 2 tight ends the week before, and we came out and we had some things that they hadn't seen, took them by surprise, didn't adjust or didn't have the opportunity to make the adjustments in game, and and since that point in time, the element of surprise obviously has been gone there, and so we've got to just figure out ways to utilize our personnel and maximize the guys we have available. Because we spent all spring and fall with, gearing everything to a 1 and 2 tight end attack, which was working pretty good until the obvious happened.
Coach, you talk about how ASU is a very complete football team. What do you see as your biggest strengths that match up really well against ASU?
Defensive line. I think our defensive line matches up with anyone in the conference, and that's been proven so far every week out. Let's see, our linebackers, I think, are playing very well. Jacoby Hale had a big impact on the game. Trevor Riley, who's a slash guy, he's part-time linebacker, part-time defensive lineman, but I think that's a good matchup for us. Running backs have been productive when they've had opportunities. We didn't have much opportunity to get underway on Saturday. And the kicking game. I think our kicking game matches up week in and week out with anybody.
And Coach, how big of a difference do you think, just mentality-wise, playing at home makes for this squad?
Well, it's been a big difference so far. Our home mentality has been really good, and we've been very competitive at home. We haven't won them all, obviously, but we've done a pretty good job at home, and not so good a job on the road in conference play.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Trevor Riley being one of 12 for the Buckus award.
Yeah, very well deserved, and he had a big game on Saturday, 2 or 3 sacks, 2 or 3 tackles for loss, and he's continuing to make an impact for us on a weekly basis, and to be one of 12 guys narrowed down at this point in time on that list still remaining, I think that's an honor for him, but well deserved, like I said.
Kyle, there's only about 4 or 5 Pac-12 teams that have more players currently in the NFL than your program. Is that deceiving in any way? I mean, should that suggest that Utah has as good of players as anybody?
Well, I think our top-tier players are very good. I think when you look at 1 through 85, that's really what you got to go on to determine how talented your roster is. And so I think our top-level guys through the years have been as good as most other people's top-level guys. It's really the core, your 1 through 10, and then you throw out your bottom 10. It's that core in between that really is the difference maker.
Kyle, did the lack of interceptions have anything to do with the lack of experience you had in the secondary this year?
I think so. I think we're breaking in 3 new secondary guys, 4 new guys when you count the nickel package when we have 5 DBs on the field. And so I've been pretty pleased and proud of the way that secondary has come together with, we're only 8 games in. We still got 4 to go, so it's not a complete season. But so far the body of work has been pretty competitive. We made some plays on the ball Saturday and have come along with a step forward each week. Throughout the season. Now, as soon as I say that, put the jinx on them. But to say where we started with those guys, experience-wise, and just their amount of time in Division I football for a lot of them, it's been a pleasant surprise for us. Not surprise, but a positive for us.
Do you guys keep track of a stat like interceptions dropped or possible interceptions or anything like that?
Yeah, missed opportunities we call them. Yeah, there's been a bunch of those this year, missed opportunities.
Is it double digits, or would you?
Probably nearing double digits or just into double digits as far as that goes.
Thanks.
For turnover, you talking about takeaways?
Right.
Yeah. There was other missed opportunities, sacks and that type of thing, but just for takeaways, yeah.
Where is this team with the offense? Are you at a matter of 4 games to go? Do you think you have the elements in place to be successful, and it's a matter of just tweaking things, or are you taking a harder look at maybe changing some philosophy?
Well, we don't want any wholesale changes. We got to decide what our best opportunity is. Do we slow the game down and shorten the game? And try to, a la Stanford. That's their mentality is just shorten the game, win with defense, although their offense has been very productive. So there's a lot of different ways you can go. The one thing we're not going to do is a wholesale change. It's too late in the season for that. And so we've got to decide, the things that we've done well, try to emphasize those and maybe streamline things even a little bit more than we have in the last couple of weeks.
Can you talk about your success following a bye week? Is there anything you do differently this week than you do the rest of the season?
No, we handle the bye week pretty much the same each year, and I think in talking to other coaches, it is pretty similar. I don't think there's a whole lot of variance with teams during the bye week. They get some work on the field, give their players some downtime to get rested up, and so I don't think that there's anything we do unique or different than anybody else. But we have had a pretty good track record. But again, the biggest deal coming out of a bye week is who you play coming out of the bye week. That determines more than anything, not necessarily the bye week itself.
With this week and then next week, especially with the quarterback position, is it more about the physical and getting healed and healthy, or is it more about the confidence and the mental side of it?
I'd say both. I'd say both. We got to make sure that we're confident and mentally in the right frame of mind, and we also got to improve physically. And so I'd say it's a 50-50 mix on that front.
The contrast between success in the Mountain West and now the frustration of losing so much in Pac-12 play. Talk about the fan base, maybe the expectations maybe being too high, this coming back down to reality, something like that.
Well, the competition level in this conference is second only, and maybe a very close second to the SEC, in my opinion. And so it's a very competitive league. There's no doubt that we have gotten better as a football team from when we first entered the league till now. But the problem is as far as the conference itself has gotten probably better at a faster rate than we have in the last 3 years, and we've got to pick up the pace and continue to improve. And it's through recruiting is how that's going to happen. But our fan base has been great. They're out there to support us. They have high expectations, which is great. You don't want a fan base that doesn't want to win, and so we're happy with the support we've gotten, and they've been in that stadium every single week, and we really feed off those guys, and so it's been a big positive for us. No.
Kyle, can you just talk about having Eric Weddle back? That looked like he had a good time.
Back to play for us?
Yeah, he's eligible this week.
That would have been huge.
He said he had a good time hanging out with the team on Saturday.
He always does. Eric is a great alum of our football team, has been a great ambassador for our team. I've said that very often over the years, and just a big support to our guys. He talked to the team day of the game and at the pregame meal or right after the pregame meal, and is a guy that has all our players respect him, admire him for what he's done, what he's accomplished, and like I said, he's just been a great representative of our program ever since while he was here, and then ever since he's left.
Any changes in philosophy on the run game? Are you still looking at the three guys?
Probably underutilized Kelvin a little bit on Saturday, and he's going to get more carries. And so the one thing that will happen is Kelvin will get more than what he's been getting the last couple of weeks. He's earned that. He's ran physically, and we should have, in hindsight, we should have used him more on Saturday.
I don't know if you noticed along the lines of the moving up in conferences, TCU's kind of having the same struggles. Does that surprise you? Or
no, it doesn't, because when you go from non-BCS to BCS, there's a catch-up phase, and really in the question you asked earlier, the core of your team has got to continue to improve. And I think TCU is very similar to us as far as their top tier of players is excellent, but I think they're finding that maybe the middle, and I can't speak for them, but what are they, 3 and 5, and struggling in the Big Ten right now, or Big 12, Big 10, Big 12, and but Gary Patterson will get that right eventually. He's a heck of a coach, and they're just going through some of the same growing pains that we are. In my estimation, you have to ask him for specifics.
How much of a difference is it making having your two star tight ends or the tight ends that you'd gone through camp with, not having them on the field, and what kinds of things do you do in compensation for that, or can you do as you move forward?
Well, it's been a huge departure from what like I said, we planned all spring and fall around those guys in a lot of ways, and the utilization of their skills. And Jake Murphy was having a very good year prior to going down, and Wesley hadn't done as much as we had hoped he would have, but not his fault. We just needed to get him more involved. And so we had a complete, complete change in personnel groupings when we lost those guys, but that's the nature of the deal. I mean, everybody in the country's down a certain amount of guys, and so you got to adjust and respond and be able to move forward. But it was certainly something that impacted us. Okay, thanks, guys.